An Appalachian Fairytale. Once upon a time, deep in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, there was a small village. The people there were hardworking and content, mostly. Yet on certain nights, strange sounds echoed from the distant woods, and every time they heard those noises, cattle would vanish from their pens or grain would go missing from the storehouses. "There's a monster in those woods," the villagers would whisper. Though none of them had ever seen the creature, fear filled their imaginations as they sat around their fires spinning tales. They hated the unseen menace that seemed to stalk their nights. Out in the dark forest lived a creature whose family had dwelled there for hundreds of years. They had once prospered, but after the villagers settled in the valley, his kind lost much of the land where they foraged, hunted, and grew their food. Now he was the last of them. He resented the villagers for taking what had always belonged to his people. To survive, he stole cattle or grain, never more than he needed, but enough to fuel the villagers' anger. One day, as he sat in a patch of sunlight brooding over his troubles, the creature heard a faint sound behind him. Turning, he saw a small boy, no more than 5 years old, standing there with a wide grin. The child wasn't afraid at all. He simply wanted to play. The creature scoffed and walked deeper into the forest, but every time he looked back, the boy was still following him. When the sun began to set, the creature finally scooped the child up and returned him safely to the village. Every day for the next couple of months, the creature found the boy wandering into the forest, eager to play. In time, the creature grew fond of him and began watching over the child as though he were family. They played together all summer long. Then the trouble began. Some of the villagers insisted that not enough had been done to protect their livestock. They claimed the monster must be hunted down once and for all. Men started roaming the woods day and night searching for the creature, but he remained hidden. One day, the creature heard the terrified cries of the little boy echoing through the forest. He ran as fast as he could. The child had fallen into a deep crevice in the earth. The creature tried desperately to reach him, but he was too large to fit into the opening. For a moment he hesitated, but he knew what he had to do. It was dangerous and could cost him his life, yet he ran toward the village to seek help. He stepped into the open and shouted as loud as he could. The villagers spotted him, grabbed their pitchforks, and charged. The creature fled, leading them back toward the crevice. Once they were close enough, he vanished into the woods and watched from afar as they rescued the boy. When the child was safe, the creature slipped deeper into the forest. He found refuge in a cave and lay down to rest, exhausted. Later that night, he awoke to the sound of voices outside his shelter. Torches flickered at the entrance, casting eerie light against the stone walls. Terrified, he braced himself, certain they had come to kill him. But he was wrong. The villagers had come to offer a truce. They wished to thank him for saving the boy's life. They told him he was welcome in the village anytime and that they would happily trade with him for meat and grain. With that, the late-night raids that had frightened them for so long finally came to an end. It turned out that because neither side had ever spoken to the other, both had misunderstood each other's intentions from the start. With the truth finally out, the villagers were happy, the boy was safe, and the creature, at last, felt at peace. From that day on, they all lived happily ever after. Perhaps the lesson is this: we should be slow to judge one another, especially when we've never truly spoken and don't understand the struggles others carry, just as they don't understand ours. And maybe the only thing we ever needed to fear wasn't a monster in the woods at all, but the one we imagine in the dark corners of our own hearts. The end.